You just popped in to Kanye West, get right for the summer workout tape. And ladies, if you follow these instructions exactly, you might be able to pull you a rapper, an NBA player. Man,
hey everyone, I'm Ethan. Thanks a lot to the HustleCon folks for having me. Before we get to what I'm supposed to talk about, it's 5-ish. You guys have been sitting all day. We're going to stretch. Everyone get up. I'm going to do it with you. Get up, get up, get up, get up, get up. Everyone get up. All right, you're going to put your hands up. You're going to grab your left wrist with your right hand, and you're going to lean over to your right side. Hold it for 5. Yeah, the opposite side of me. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Switch hands. We're going to go the other side. 5, 4. Feel it on your right side. 3, 2, 1. Let go. Grab your hands behind your back. Interlock your fingers and lift as high as you can. You're going to open up your chest and ideally hit the person behind you for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. Thank you. Sit down. All right. So let me grab my clicker. So for those of you who don't know, Aaptiv is an on-demand audio fitness product. Our members pay $99 a year for unlimited access to a large on-demand content library. We have 22 categories of classes, over 2,500 classes, and we release 40 new classes a week. We try to remove barriers from fitness. So we don't think that it should be about how much money you can afford to spend or how close you live to a studio or some fancy new equipment. So we focus exclusively on audio content. Our trainers motivate you, they guide you through workouts, and we have everything from treadmill to strength training to rowing to boxing. And we've grown quite well. We launched the business 3 years ago. We have raised a little over $50 million. We announced our Series C just 2 days ago, which was a $22 million round. We had, thank you. We had this time we raised money from some strategics. So we had Amazon, Disney, and Warner Music invest in the company, which is an exciting vote of confidence from some key players in the space. So we launched the business 3 years ago, and we grew beautifully. We did $5,000 of revenue in November of 2015 and $1.7 million in July of 2017. So that's a 24% compounded monthly growth rate over that period, which is cool. The problem with that level of growth is that growth is very expensive. And the problem with expensive growth is that you burn an obscene amount of money. So we realized that we were burning a little over $2 million a month, and in July of 17, we burned $2.4 million. And burn is an interesting thing that's been talked about a lot because it's very relevant and important. There's sort of the tactical challenges with burn, right? Which is you're actually running out of money, you have to pay people, you have to pay for things, etc. But if you ignore the tactical problems with burn, the real problem is that you're losing control of your company. You're losing control of the thing that you want to build, because if you're constantly burning money, you're constantly raising money. And if you're constantly raising money, you're at the whim of the investor community. You don't get to have the say that you want to have on the product that you're building. A product is a perspective. Those of you who are founders are building a product because you have a perspective on the way that the world should be. And if you're a high burn company, you will inevitably lose control of that perspective. So we asked ourselves, how do we stop the burn? And there's typically 3 options associated with reducing burn. The first one is layoffs. I wasn't going to do that. I love my team. They're fundamental and crucial to everything that we do. There's simply no way I was going to lay off my team to save the cash burn. It's not something that would be fair to them, fair to the business, or fair to the members. The other option that some people suggested was to slow down our acquisition spend. We're a young company. Many of you are founders. You have young companies. I think that the number one piece of leverage, the highest point of leverage that any of us have against whoever the large behemoth is in the space that we're trying to disrupt is speed. That's the highest point of leverage that any of us have. And if we slow down our acquisition spend, that means we slow down our growth. That means we lose speed. And if you lose speed, you're giving up everything. So I wasn't going to do that either. We asked ourselves, is there some kind of third magical solution that we're not thinking of, or that people haven't advised us about, or that we don't read about? And we realized, fortunately, that there was, and that was to fix the working capital position of the business. So let's talk about working capital. For those of you who don't know what it is, working capital is basically looking at the cash inflows of the business and the cash outflows of the business. And what you want to do is set yourself up such that you have a positive cash balance between the money that's coming in and the money that's going out. And a lot of people don't talk about it, especially in the startup community. It's not something that's a topic of conversation. We sort of see an invoice that's due and we pay it out, or we book some revenue and we don't really care if it comes in 5, 10, 15, 30, 60 days. That's absolutely the wrong way to think about your business. The cash position of your business, the inflows and outflows, will determine the success of the product you're trying to build. It literally is the amount of control you have in your product. And I know that sounds, dramatic or bullshitty or whatever, but I promise you, the more control you have over your cash position, the more control you'll have on your product. And ultimately, that's what you're there for. That's what you want to build. So we're a subscription business. We generate lifetime value of a member. And so we said, how do we improve our working capital? And it was either through increasing the lifetime value of the member or receiving the money earlier. So to increase the lifetime value of the member, we sell our product online, but we also sell it through the iOS and Android App Store. And as anyone who does this knows, it sucks because you have to pay 30% to Android and Apple to do that. So when I say CLTV up there, I'm talking about the contribution lifetime value, which is net of merchant fees and net of any cost of goods sold. It's your gross margin, basically. So we could improve our merchant fees, which would mean that we would sell it on web instead of through Apple or Android. So on web, we pay 2.7%. On Apple or Android, we pay 30%. So that's a 27.3% savings like that. Number two is we can increase our conversion. So if we increase the frequency and the rate of conversion, we're increasing our CLTV. And last was to actually improve the retention of our members from year 1 to year 2, year 2 to year 3, et cetera, which increases the lifetime value. So that was on the CLTV side. Then we said, how do we receive the money earlier? There was a couple of options there. Number one was to explore alternative pricing options. So we're a subscription business. Before this, we charged $10 a month for unlimited access to all of our content. And that $10 a month price point, we didn't really test into it. We sort of, it felt right. But we realized that maybe we should be testing into it a little bit more. So we explored alternative pricing options, including an annual plan. And we now have an annual plan that's $100 a year. You pay that up front. And we changed the price of our monthly to $15 a month. So what we realized that it's more valuable for us to receive $100 upfront than $15 over 12, or $180 over 12 months, broken down in $15 increments, because of net present value, because of cash flows, because of working capital. So depending on how your businesses work, depending on your pricing schemes, there may be a meaningful discount which is worth it to get the money up front. That was the case for us. The other option for us was financing structures. So for those of you who receive money through iOS and Android, you typically receive it 45 or 60 days later. So we tried to see, can we finance those receivables to receive the cash sooner? So what we realized is the summary of all of this is that we needed to sell annual subscriptions on the web. So how do we do that? The first thing that we did is we built out a robust engineering team dedicated to the web product. The second thing we did is we said, why don't we actually make the web product our primary focus from a traffic perspective? So any ads, any marketing, any partnerships that we did, instead of sending people to the App Store, let's send them to the web, where, again, we pay a significantly lower merchant fee. The third thing we did is we said, why don't we make the web, our website, a place that people actually want to come for great experiences, for great content, as opposed to just making it a sales page where we're just trying to convert people as much as possible. Why don't we actually make it a really exciting place to be? Despite that, we also said, let's continue testing the shit out of it to make it a really great sales page. So we did a lot of A/B testing, a lot of iterations on pricing. Fortunately, the result of all of this work is that we went from burning $2.4 million in a single month to actually being cash flow positive 7 months later. And this, to be clear, okay, I just realized that GIF is totally wrong. We're not throwing out money. That's not the message I'm trying to show here. We're supposed reverse, it's supposed to come in. We started receiving money. It was positive. By the end of that, he looked cool doing it. Okay. You can do this if you focus on the working capital situation in the business. And it took a lot of work from our team to do it, but it completely changed the control that we had on the business. We control it now. We control our cash position, which means we control the product and the perspective that we have. I hope this is helpful for you guys, for those of you who are founders or entrepreneurs. I know the cash stuff, cash balance management is really challenging, so I hope this was helpful. Feel free to find me on LinkedIn or my Twitter handle, which is right there. Thank you.